What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name's Kyle. Tonight we have a football game, Thursday Night Football. It's the Rams and the Raiders. We're not super excited about it. It's not the best Thursday Night Football game, but we do have some Raiders that we care about. Hopefully you don't have to worry about a Ram in your lineup. But anyways, Thursday Night Football, we hang out for the next half an hour or so. We'll go over any questions you guys may have, and we'll go over all the practice reports. There was a ton of practice reports today, and it's a very stressful week. Not only do we have 6 teams on bye, but man, it just seems like the injuries really piled up for us on week 13. So we'll get into it here. I did type in a bunch of the reports in the comment section, so kind of read through some of those. I'm actually going to hop over to the NBC Player News tab, and we'll go over this from the top. Starting with some Seahawks here, we have Geno Smith added to the injury report with a right shoulder issue, getting him limited today. So I don't think it's a terrible situation. I think Geno's going to be just fine. The one we're watching, though, remains with the running back situation. Kenneth Walker still not practicing, and DJ Dallas also not practicing. So this means it's trending towards a Travis Homer, Tony Jones backfield. And we need to keep an eye on Travis Homer because he has been out the last handful of games. His practice report today, limited practice. They don't have the Thursday one typed in here yet, but he did practice limited and limited Wednesday, Thursday. It looks like he might be the pass catching back, and then I'm assuming Tony Jones might be in the mix for a handful of carries as well. So it's looking like Kenneth Walker's not going to play. Keep Travis Homer and Tony Jones Jr. in your minds for this one. Teron Armstead practicing for the Dolphins. That's a good sign there. We're going to expect Joe Mixon back this weekend. They're saying that he's going to remain the one following his 2-game absence. So fire up Joe Mixon as you usually would. Jalen Waddle, good to see here, upgraded to full practice. So he's putting that injury behind him that he had in week 13 and looking like it's just a bruise. So good news on Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill held out for an illness. A lot of illness going on. I'm not seeing COVID-19 stuff anymore, but it's a lot of illnesses going around. So hopefully you guys are all staying well. And then I don't know who starts tonight at quarterback. I guess I'll wait and see what happens. I'll probably get a Twitter alert at some point. But we're not sure if it's going to be Baker Mayfield, John Wolford, or Bryce Perkins. So it's kind of a mess. Hopefully you don't have to rely on a Rams QB tonight. Josh Jacobs is active. And then the other big one that I saw today was Nico Collins, not expected to play for the Texans against Dallas. But let me get into some of the comments here. Good evening to Jason. Hope you're doing well. Carr or Lawrence? I think with the uncertainty of Trevor Lawrence, I did put this in here. He did not practice today or yesterday, so I think there is some hesitation. He's got the toe injury, back-to-back DNPs. I don't like the signs of that. I think the way Derek Carr has been playing the last like 5-6 games, he's been playing at a pretty high level, and it's a good matchup. I think you play Derek Carr tonight because we just don't know if Lawrence is going to play. So good evening to Bill. Hope you're doing well. I'm not seeing Kenneth Walker officially out, but just reading the tea leaves here, it does not look good for Kenneth Walker. They don't have the Thursday reports in here yet, but he didn't practice today, or did DJ Dallas. So I'm assuming Dallas and Kenneth Walker are both going to be out this weekend, which means Travis Homer, kind of a pass catching back, and then Tony Jones Jr. is going to kind of work in some kind of weird duo for the Seahawks. So yeah, I'm assuming no Kenneth Walker, and yeah, no Nico Collins tonight. Good evening to Justin. I got Deshaun Watson too. I don't love the matchup versus Cincinnati. We saw Cincinnati stifle Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs offense, so I don't know if I want to get into that. It's also he didn't look very good in his first game back, so I'm thinking Derek Carr is probably the guy. And his numbers the last few games, like Derek Carr has been throwing a lot of touchdowns. Let me pull this up here. And then, you're attaching yourself to Devontae Adams, which seems to be like a pretty good option right now. But look at 1, 2, 3, 4. His last 5 games, he's thrown at least 2 touchdowns. His yards are almost pretty much over 250 every game. I would bank on another 250 and 2 touchdowns from this. And his fantasy points have been pretty solid the last few games because the offense is rolling. So I'm thinking Derek Carr is the guy. I feel safest with him. So line dropped 42 for tonight. Thursday night games are weird, man. The lines are always pretty low, but the fact that it's at 42 now, I'm probably thinking maybe 3 touchdowns for the Raiders tonight and a couple field goals, something like 27-13 seems about right. And I appreciate that, Cade. Sam Darnold or Mike White? Oh man, this is a dirty one, Harris. Sam Darnold or Mike White? Looking at the matchups, let's look at the the fantasy points allowed. I do think the Carolina Panthers might be interesting this weekend. They're going to get the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks defense not the greatest, so it's a decent matchup for Sam Darnold. But with Mike White going up against Buffalo, I don't know if I trust that. It's a tough game, especially being in Buffalo. I'm probably going to lean with Sam Darnold in this one because he is known to rush for a touchdown every now and then as well. So I'm thinking it's Sam Darnold. It's a tough matchup for Mike White, but he's gonna sling the ball a lot. And yeah, I'm glad. I liked Kieran Williams. I liked him as a prospect throughout the last few weeks. But last week really scared us, not getting him enough carries, not getting any catches. I think it's fine to leave Kieran on the bench tonight. But I will say, there is a scenario where, we expect the Raiders to score points. Kyren Williams is kind of the third down back. Like, he's got that job locked up. It wouldn't surprise me if he has, 3 or 4 catches in this one tonight. But yeah, I think the safe play is not to use him. Gallup, McKenzie, or Juju. Interesting. So I was very encouraged to see Michael Gallup play well the other night there on primetime. He looked really good catching those touchdowns, but he's playing the Texans, and as much crap as we give the Texans, they actually have a decent defense, and they don't allow quarterback and wide receiver points. They've only allowed 4 wide receiver touchdowns all year, so it's not a great matchup for Gallup. You also have to worry about, the Texans can't stop the run. What if Zeke and Tony Pollard get touchdowns early and this game just kind of gets off the rails and I don't see them having to pass much? So I'm kind of nervous on Gallup. I think McKenzie's in play right now. And then with Juju, haven't really been excited about Juju. It's been a while since he had those big touchdown games back to back. So I'm leaning McKenzie here. I think McKenzie in the slot with Buffalo seems to be like a pretty good option. So I'm going to say Isaiah McKenzie, Juju close second. Cade's got Pierce, and Rashad is my other RBs aside from McCaffrey. Should I stream Akers tonight? No, I'm interested in seeing what it looks like tonight, but I don't think I want it in my fantasy lineups. Like, technically, the Raiders do allow a decent amount of points to the running back, but if they have Baker Mayfield starting tonight, or even if it's Wolford or Perkins, like I think we want to steer clear of this offense tonight. And even if Akers, like, what's a great game from Akers? Like, last weekend, he had the 2 touchdowns. Like, that would be gold if he hit that again. But I don't think we can bank on the touchdowns. It's probably like a 12 to 15 carry night for 50 yards or something. So I don't really see the upside there. And then the other part of this equation is we expect the Raiders to score points. So that means more running or more passing probably than running. So I'm thinking you stick with Pierce and Rashad White. Feel a little bit more comfortable with those guys in their offenses, I guess. And yeah, Derek Carr 3 TD game wouldn't surprise me. I know a lot of people got Devontae Adams. They're pretty excited about what they got brewing. Bill says, would you rather roll at I should probably put my I just realized I did not have my screen share on. I'm so stupid. So there we go. Now I can show you guys what I'm looking at. Who would you roll with at RB between J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Ty Johnson, or Kenneth Gainwell? That's a deep question there. I think, if J.K. Dobbins is active, you're looking at Dobbins, Gus, and Kenyon Drake. That's kind of like a 3-way committee. I don't really feel comfortable with either of those guys. Ty Johnson, kind of the same thing. It sounds like Michael Carter's going to be active. So you're going to have Carter is on in the night, and then Ty Johnson. And then with Gainwell, the appeal with Gainwell is the last 2 weeks he has seen more usage. It's probably I think we're expecting the Eagles to be able to control that game against the Giants. So it wouldn't surprise me if Gainwell, racked up some second half work. I'm probably thinking Gainwell is the option, but if you wanted to go with J.K. Dobbins, I think that's probably a safe play. So I think it's Gainwell and maybe Dobbins if you're feeling it. Good evening to Ryan. Hope you're doing well. Amari Cooper and Mike Williams non-PPR. So I did see Amari Cooper pop up on the injury report today. He got a limited practice in today with a hip injury. That's kind of a new thing that kind of concerns me. But with Mike Williams, it's hard to trust Mike Williams because, we played him in that one game. He came back. He gets hurt. Now he's coming back. Maybe it's best to leave Mike Williams on the bench for one more week and let him prove it to us that he's healthy. So I'm going to lean Amari Cooper in that one, Harris. And yeah, PPR format. If it's PPR, the Ravens don't throw to the back, so I'm kind of not interested in Dobbins or Gus. But Ty Johnson catches passes. But again, if Michael Carter is going to play, it looks like he is. I think it's Kenneth Gainwell. He did catch 3 passes last weekend. Basically, you're probably hoping for 8 points at this point. So I think Gainwell is the best combination of touchdown upside and receptions. Marquise Brown or Evans. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Arizona Cardinals. In terms of wide receiver points here, it looks like the Patriots are a top 10 defense here, so they only allow about 30 fantasy points per game. Maybe Bill Belichick focuses on Hopkins and leaves it open for Hollywood Brown. But either way, we're not super excited about Mike Evans lately. It's been a while since we scored a touchdown. It's kind of Godwin that's been getting the majority of the touches in the touchdowns lately. So I think it's going to be Marquise Brown for me in that question. Mostert or Rashad White. I'm kind of excited about Raheem Mostert. I mean, he only had 7 carries last weekend as the Miami Dolphins were playing from behind, but Jeff Wilson only got 1 carry. So that kind of raises an eyebrow right there. In the fantasy points allowed category, the Chargers are like one of the worst teams against the running back. You can see them right here. They've allowed a ton of yards. They've allowed 15 touchdowns to running backs. I expect Miami to be able to run the ball against the Chargers here, so I'm leaning towards Raheem Mostert. KC or LV defense? I've gotten this question a lot this week. These are the 2 popular ones. I do think the Raiders are going to be productive tonight. And I watched the game last weekend, the Chargers and the Raiders. I watched most of that game, and the Chargers offense just could not protect Herbert. The Raiders pass rush really got to them. I would expect the same thing kind of happens tonight. So I do like the Raiders, and you also have they're we don't know who their quarterback is yet. I haven't seen anything come through on Twitter yet. Let me actually pull that up and see if we got any notifications here. But I'm leaning right now towards putting the Raiders in tonight because I'm not either way though, guys. Like the Chiefs and the Raiders are both like top 5 plays this week, so I think we're pretty safe. But I kind of want to get the Raiders in there tonight. It's going to be a low scoring game. Who knows what they're doing at quarterback? It feels good. The Rams have basically given up on their season. So Darnold or Purdy. I'll go with Brock Purdy in this one. I think against Tampa Bay though. That one's kind of a tough one. I'm going to lean with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, maybe there's like a little bit more optimism there since Baker Mayfield's out of the picture now. I'll go with Darnold. Evan Ingram or Noah Fant, PPR. If Trevor Lawrence is out, I'm not super excited about that. So I'm going to lean Noah Fant. Noah Fant's been playing fine this season, especially the last few games. He has been playing fine. So I'll lean with Noah Fant. And yeah, Pollard kind of forced their hand, man, especially when Zeke was gone for 2 weeks. Like they can't contain a player like him. So it's good to see him getting his touches. He's a solid running back too the rest of the way, and he's going to have those spike weeks when he scores touchdowns. So we love to see it. Michael Carter or Mike Evans, full PPR. That one's a little bit tougher. It's not a good matchup for the Tom Brady passing offense. You see the 49ers here rank really good against QBs. So I don't expect Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady is probably going to be right at 1.5 touchdowns. People are probably going to take the under on that. And the San Francisco 49ers, they do allow wide receiver points, but again, those have been going towards Godwin. So basically, we have to ask ourselves, do you want the safe 8 to 10 points? Take Michael Carter. If you need ceiling, if you need to, if you need to win this matchup or you're projected to lose, go with Mike Evans because he's got the ceiling. We know he can, catch touchdowns in bunches, and it's been I think it's been probably like over 6 weeks since Mike Evans has scored a touchdown. Let me double check this. That's probably the longest drought of his career. Let me see here. So yeah, he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 4, which is pretty crazy. So maybe he's due. I think in a full PPR, I'm going to lean with the receiver. So I'm going to say Mike Evans. Foreman or Mostert. We're going to go with Deonta Foreman here. He practiced today. He's on track to play. Unless Foreman's out, then you can go Mostert. But if Foreman's going to play, I want to get Foreman in there because it's a really good matchup against Seattle, and he does have the potential to rack up 20 carries or so. So Seattle is the worst team against the running back. Now they did play Josh Jacobs a couple weeks ago when he had his big game, so it's kind of skewed a little bit. But it's a really good matchup for Foreman, who kind of operates like a Josh Jacobs. He's a banger. Cooper or Marquise Brown, non-PPR. I'm gonna lean Amari Cooper because he is the clear number 1 option in that offense, whereas Marquise Brown does have to deal with DeAndre Hopkins a little bit. So I'm gonna say Amari Cooper. Eagles or Ravens defense? Eagles or Ravens defense? So I do like the Eagles. playing New York Giants. I don't have a lot of excitement about the Giants offense. And we did see Saquon Barkley popped up on the injury report today with a neck thing. So that's questionable. The Ravens going up against Pittsburgh, not super excited about the Pittsburgh offense either. It is in Pittsburgh. So I'm probably not excited about the Ravens to win the game. I'm going to go with the Eagles because one, they're favored to win. They're playing the Giants, and it should be an easy victory for the not a super easy game, but I think the Eagles are the more trustworthy team right now. Because Tyler Huntley, man, he sometimes he throws interceptions and puts the team in bad spots. Whereas I'm going to roll with the team that has been the team that we've been starting lately, so the Eagles. Ayuk or Thielen in a full PPR format. This one, both as good as Ayuk's been playing this year, I think you got to go with Adam Thielen. This game between the Lions and the Vikings, man, it's going to be super high scoring. They have the Vikings and the Lions game at 52.5 total implied points. If the Vikings are going to score 3 or 4 touchdowns, I would like to think Adam Thielen has a pretty good chance at getting one of those. And that Tampa Bay San Francisco game, there's only 37 implied points in that game. So there's a huge 2 touchdown difference. So go with the team that's got more potential points. I'm going to go with Adam Thielen. Evan Ingram or James Robinson. This one's easy. We're going Evan Ingram. We can't touch James Robinson. He's the RB4 on the Jets right now, clearly behind Zonovan Knight, behind Michael Carter, and maybe not even ahead of Ty Johnson. So Evan Ingram. McKinnon or Rashad White, non-PPR. So these are both technically PPR backs. I do think, let's see. I like the way McKinnon's been playing. I'm probably going to roll with Jerick McKinnon. I do like Rashad White quite a bit. I just want to look and see what Rashad White's final numbers were last week. It's going to be a tough matchup, man. That 49ers defense, still one of the best, if not the best in the league. And Rashad White, he played well. He had 8 targets, 6 for 41 and a touchdown, 9 for 28. So this could be his ground game. I don't know if we're going to see these targets. So I'll go with Rashad White here because I feel confident that he's going to get maybe double-digit carries and a handful of receptions, whereas I don't know what McKinnon's going to get for his total workload. So I will lean Rashad White, even though it's a tough matchup. The way to negate that with a tough matchup is to throw the ball on a good defense like that. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. Did anything come through on the Baker Mayfield decision yet? I want to see. Let me type in Baker Mayfield. Very curious to see how this Rams offense looks tonight. I haven't seen anything yet. Let me hit refresh on a couple things here. Yeah, nothing through yet. But once that comes through, we'll let you know. I play in a lot of Superflex leagues, so a couple people have picked up Baker Mayfield in those leagues. So I'm just kind of curious. But let me get back to some of the player news here. See if we can find some stuff. Again, Nico Collins not expected to play. Mike Williams upgraded to full practice. So if you need Mike Williams in your lineup, I'm fine with starting him. I do prefer to maybe let him sit on my bench for 1 week if you can. If you have a nice wide receiver 3 option, go ahead and play him. Otherwise, I would leave Mike on the bench. Doesn't look like Cortland Sutton's going to play this week, so be on the lookout for that. Jerry Jeudy is limited in practice today, but he's expected to play. So I do like Jerry Jeudy. We're expecting the Broncos to have to throw the ball because the Chiefs should score points. This could be a really nice Jerry Jeudy game. And then keep in mind, if you need a wide receiver, Kendall Hinton, he'll be the number 2 receiver if no Cortland Sutton tomorrow on Sunday. McCaffrey practicing, Debo practicing, Hayden Hurst for the Bengals not practicing. Don't expect to see him on Sunday. And then David Njoku back at practice. He talked to the media yesterday. I fully expect him to play this weekend. I'm low on RBs. What do you think about starting Mixon and Pirine? Only got Kieran, McKinnon, and Drake. I'm cool with that because we have seen that the Cleveland Browns are not good at stopping the running backs. They've allowed 16 touchdowns on the year. That's about 28 points per game. I mean, if I asked you the question, would you be cool with 28 points between Pirine and Mixon? I think you'd say, hell yeah. That's a decent outing for the 2 backs. Whereas I do think if you didn't want to go with Pirine, it's probably Jerick McKinnon that I would go with. But the way Pirine's been playing, man, when Mixon's healthy, Mixon's going to probably be the first and second down back, but they're going to use Pirine. He's going to catch passes. I probably see like 7 to 10 PPR points out of Pirine. And if they do get near the end zone, like you're getting the touchdown from one of those backs if they run it in. So I'm cool with the mix in Pirine. And then basically, like, you just got to say, I'm hoping for 20 points minimum. But if they do hit that 28, that Cleveland allows per game, you're feeling pretty good. So it doesn't matter who scores the touchdown, who scores the points. You just want Bengals RB points. So I'm cool with it. Trust Adam Thielen this week? I think so. He's not going to get a better matchup than this. And the way that the Vikings defended, or the Lions defended Justin Jefferson earlier in the year, let's see, Adam Thielen had 6 for 61 and a touchdown in that game. So that was one of his best games of the year. He did have a touchdown against New England a few weeks back. I know it's not been the best season for Adam Thielen, but I'm gonna play him against the Lions. If Walker is out, thinking of playing Lockett over Lamb, I'm cool with that. Lockett's been on fire. It's a good matchup against Carolina. Lamb's got a tough matchup. Not only does Lamb have a tough matchup, but you have to worry, again, about the Cowboys maybe pulling their guys or letting up and just having to run the football in the second half. So I think that's a legit concern. I do like Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I'm going to here's the thing. Mike Williams, what was it, 3 weeks ago? He comes back from that high ankle sprain. He plays a couple series, and then he gets hurt after that big catch. And then he misses some time again. I don't think they're going to rush him out there if he's not ready. So if Mike Williams is going to play, I'll play him over DPJ. Thoughts on Cam Akers tonight? Oh, no. If you want 7 to 8 points as a floor, it's okay. I expect Cam Akers to maybe get between 12 and 15 carries tonight. If he does get a catch or two in PPR, that can help your floor, but they're not going to be able to run the ball very well against the Raiders, I feel. Don't really trust the quarterback situation, so that's a part of it as well. And because we expect the Raiders to score points, that's going to probably take Cam Akers' carries a little bit lower than normal. So last weekend, Akers had a great game. They were able to stay in that game and make it really close at the end. I don't think we're going to get that this weekend or tonight. So if you're fine with getting 7 or 8 points as your floor, I'd say go with it. He's going to make your night. Obviously, if he gets the touchdown, that's what's going to put him like in the 15-point range. But if you just want 7 to 8 points, I'm fine with Akers. And you too, Bill. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Does Rondale playing make Hollywood more of a start? So Rondale Moore is not going to play. I'm looking for that report. So Rondale Moore did not practice today. Hopkins didn't even practice today. He's got an illness, so maybe that kind of hinders his outlook for the season or for this weekend. So fully expect Rondale Moore to not play. They're going to get Greg Dortch back, though, so he might be in the slot a little bit. But I'm thinking Marquise Brown is probably a pretty good play on Monday Night Football. Judy or Devonta Smith. Harris, this question, I'm going to default to the quarterback. Give me Jalen Hurts. I like Jerry Jeudy. I like him without Cortland Sutton, but I'm going to go with the team that I know can score more than 18 points per game, and that is like Devonta Smith last weekend. He had the touchdown in the first 2 minutes of the game. Continues to make big plays. I think you got to go with Devonta. It's basically just a question of Eagles versus Broncos offense at this point. Let me see if I can find any more player news for us. Did we get an update on John Wolford? I'm still waiting for it. Let me hit John Wolford up here. So John Wolford currently taking snaps of the Rams starters and warmups. It looks like I would say this is looking like John Wolford is going to be starting, and maybe Baker Mayfield is the backup. Interesting. But let me keep going through some of these player news here. Leonard Fournette limited. I don't know if this seems like a new foot thing, but maybe that leans towards Rachaad White a little bit. There's Greg Dortch practicing in full. DeAndre Hopkins, again, not practicing with an illness. They play on Monday night. I'm assuming he's going to play. This illness thing has been going around the NFL the last couple of weeks here, so I don't think this is anything to worry about too much. And then there's your Rondale Moore not practicing. So I'm going to lean towards him not playing. Here's the Saquon Barkley, limited with the neck injury. Not sure what the issue is. We'll monitor this tomorrow. If he's a downgrade to DNP tomorrow, we'll worry about it. But if he's limited tomorrow, I feel fine. T. Higgins, limited with a hamstring injury. This is a new one. We'll see what happens again tomorrow. Hopefully he can get a limited in or a full session. Maybe they're just being light with him as they're starting to kind of see the finish line and get ready for the playoffs. Stevenson or Mostert, no contest. We're going Stevenson. Not even Stevenson. You should be viewing Stevenson like in a PPR format. Stevenson is a top 5 running back right now. In a non PPR, he's probably like a top 10, top 12 running back. So Stevenson is the dude here. You got to get Stevenson in your lineup. A good matchup too against the Cardinals. Cardinals not a great defense, one of the worst defenses in the league right now. Quez Watkins limited. There's Jamal Williams practicing in full with a hand injury, and then we get DeAndre Swift practicing in full. So that's great news. Great news for DeAndre Swift. It seems like his tide is turning a little bit. He looks to be more of like a trustworthy RB2. You have Treylon Burks still not practicing. I don't think we're going to see Treylon Burks this weekend. If he does play, he's just kind of like a fringe wide receiver 3 flex play. And if he's out, that makes Robert Woods somewhat useful. But if you guys need a tight end, I know if you don't have Kelsey or Mark Andrews or Hawkinson or Kittle, like you need a tight end at this point, right? So check out the rookie for the Titans, Chig Okonkwo. He has been pretty important in that offense the last few games. He's been making big plays, 5 targets in back-to-back games. And if Treylon Burks isn't going to play, I think Okonkwo is definitely a look as a streamer. Zay Jones limited, no TJ Watt. Interesting here, no Deontay Johnson with that hip injury. It was a downgrade from yesterday. So we'll watch the health of him. If he can't go tomorrow, that's going to make me interested and probably makes George Pickens a must start this weekend against the Ravens. Najee Harris is practicing. He's back here. You got Mike Williams. We covered that already. Again, Brandon Cooks not practicing here. So I don't know who the Texans are going to throw the ball to. They have Chris Moore and Philip Dorsett, I guess. Maybe some of the tight ends that they use. I'm not really sure. Zach Ertz underwent surgery here. He'll be back for 2023. Do you like the Adam Thielen Cousins stack? I do because I do feel like in that, again, like that game is projected to score 52 points. I'd probably even take the over on that one. Like I could see both teams playing in the 30-point range. So the potential for 3 touchdowns for the Vikings is pretty dang good, with maybe 2, if not 3 of those for Cousins. And again, if Cousins is throwing 3 touchdowns, there's a good chance that Thielen's on the end of one of those. So I do like the stack this weekend. Obviously, Justin Jefferson's the best play for that stack, but Adam Thielen looks to be like a pretty good play for him this weekend. J.K. Dobbins practicing today. Good news there. Lamar Jackson not practicing, so we're fully expecting to see Tyler Huntley play. Here's Damian Harris not practicing again. So your Stevenson question there earlier, Harris. Doesn't look like Harris is going to play, so we'll go with Ramondre for sure. No Jacoby Myers. This one's interesting. He's had the concussion thing on Thanksgiving night. He had the shoulder head injury thing going last week. It's kind of dinged up right now, so I'm not sure if this is a day off of rest. We'll see about him tomorrow. If he plays, I like him in my lineup. The Cardinals defense is not great. He's going to probably lead the team in targets, so we'll monitor Jacoby here. Good news on Kadarius Toney finally practicing. So we'll see here. I don't know if we're going to use him in our lineups this weekend, but it's good to see him at least back on the practice field. Corey Davis practicing as well. Big one here, no Trevor Lawrence today, which is back-to-back do not practices. Tomorrow, if he gets a limited session in tomorrow, I'm feeling better about him playing. But if he's not practicing tomorrow, I'm going to assume that he's not going to play. I believe their backup is CJ Beathard, and Beathard's fine. I think he can float Christian Kirk, so I don't want to see Christian Kirk questions. I think he's still a top 25 wide receiver with Beathard, but not a good sign for Trevor Lawrence's availability here. Judy, Marquise, or Michael Gallup PPR. If Sutton's out, I'll go with Jerry Judy. I'm going to rank these guys as Judy, Marquise Brown, Michael Gallup. If Sutton does play, I'll go with Marquise Brown. Rachaad White, a flex player remainder of season? Yes. I mean, you look at his workload against the Saints, where he had 9 carries, so that's fine. But he had 8 targets, 6 for 8 as a receiver. He had a handful of yards as a receiver, and he caught the touchdown. Even if you remove the touchdown, he still put up 12 points. So I kind of view him as like a DeAndre Swift type. So to me, he's a low-end RB2 flex play in a PPR league. I think you're pretty happy with what you got in Rachaad White. And Leonard Fournette is banged up, so I don't see any situation or any week coming soon where Fournette's going to get the ball 20-some times. They're going to go with the fresh legs, and it seems like Rachaad White has earned the trust of Tom Brady as a pass catcher, so I like White. McKenzie or Christian Kirk PPR. Even if it's Beathard, I'm still going to stick with Kirk. He's the leading guy on that team. It's a really good matchup against the Tennessee Titans. I don't believe the Jags have played the Titans this year yet. I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened. Let's look at Christian Kirk. I don't believe they've played the Titans yet. Yeah, they haven't played the Titans yet. But I do feel pretty good about Christian Kirk's matchup. Doesn't matter if it's Lawrence or Beathard, Raheem or Marquise Brown. That one I'm going to go with Marquise Brown. And in most situations, Harris, for PPR, I'm going to lean with the wide receiver. Marquise Brown has the ability to catch, 5, 6, 7, 8 balls in this one. Raheem Mostert, probably not as many receptions. Mostert, you basically need him to score a touchdown to be a good play. Whereas Marquise Brown can go out and get, 6 for 72, and you feel pretty good about your numbers there. But we're going on about a half an hour here. If you guys got one more question or two, please fire them up. I'm going to get out of here for tonight. We have the football game starting in just a few minutes. Have they named a starting quarterback yet for the Rams? I'm still not seeing anything here, so this is pretty crazy. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game tonight. Is Hubbard playable if Foreman plays? Yes. So with Foreman, he practiced today. He says he's 95% chance of playing. So I think Foreman's going to play. But with that being said, Seahawks can't stop the run. If you remember they had the bye week last week, but the week before that, Chuba had 17 carries. So they clearly like to run the ball with him. And in a game, if it's close, I expect Carolina to kind of hang in there with Seattle. I mean, if you need a running back too this weekend, I'm fine with it. And you always have since the injury seal is kind of broken on Foreman, he could get hurt in the middle of the game, and then you got something with Hubbard. I do think Hubbard's kind of the pass catching back too, and maybe there's some juice there with Sam Darnold now. So I do think Hubbard probably. I would probably put Chuba Hubbard like in a Cam Akers category, where if you need 7 to 8 points, I think I'm okay with it. Is Jacoby Myers going to play? He didn't practice today, so if he's not practicing tomorrow, I'm going to assume no. But keep in mind, they play on Monday night, so we're probably not going to get a clear answer enough by Sunday. I would probably go forward with not expecting to use him. If he does play, you can probably play him. But I think the safe play right now is if you have someone else available, I would probably go with the other option. But anyways, guys, that's enough for tonight. I'm not going to be able to do a live stream on Saturday night. I have a Christmas party to go to, but we'll be live Sunday morning for sure. And then I might do a live stream tomorrow, just kind of recap all the injury news and things like that. So enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully you get all the fantasy points you need, or if you're going against like Devontae, hopefully they don't get the points for you. But either way, have a good night. We'll see you guys in the future. Peace.